Hey guys, Sam the Raid Man back here today with another video. I'm super excited. I'm also super tired. It's very late. But this is going to be, I think, a really big step for my channel. I think this is an idea I've had brewing since way before I started my YouTube channel. I've always wanted to do this. Basically, I don't have a name for it. I'm sure I'll come up with something fun. If you guys have any ideas, let me know. But basically, it's going to be a series, and this will be episode 1 of different types of clan boss challenges. We're thinking of all these different funky ways to build clan boss teams. We're going to have some people come in and draft our teams for us. We're going to pull from certain types of specific pools of champions, like all of this faction, all female, all of this alliance in the index, or all legendaries, all epics, that kind of stuff. And we're going to use different wheels. I think it's super exciting. I think it's going to be really fun for me. Hopefully, you guys enjoy it. It should be pretty different, just a different idea. I know Deadwood used to do a challenge where he would give certain limitations to types of champions, and everyone would compete for the highest damage. That's what we're doing. We're just going to take it a step further. And if you guys have any idea of fun teams you could see me build, I'd love to try and build them, turn your comment into a video, so leave them in the comments below. But today's idea, we're going to start with something pretty simple and then move on to some more complicated stuff. Today we're going to be making a clan boss team off of previous fragment summons and fusions. And those only those champions, including the epics that have been fragment summons or fusions. Not counting Doom Tower champions, not counting any champion you pull from a shard. So, in general, I'm going to lean towards unkillable or block damage teams. They just get better results, which is what we're pushing for. We're pushing for the highest damage, and they're just a little easier to build. So in terms of fusions and fragment summons, there's only one champion who enables a unkillable or block damage team. If you know who it is, pause for a second, leave it down in the description below. I want to see how knowledgeable you guys are about clan boss. I'll give you a second or two. Okay, the champion we're building our team around is Hellcath. And I'm going to leave the link to Deadwood Jedi's website. We're using the supercharged Hellcat, so I'll link that in the description below. Hellcath has an A1 that places weaken, an A2 that places shields, and this is how we're going to tank the stun. So this is very big. And then we have block damage for 2 turns. He also counterattacks, and that'll help us place more weakens. The next thing we need to build this team is somebody to keep us affinity friendly. So there's no really cleansers that we can use. There are 3 block debuff champions that all have the ability on a 3-turn cooldown, which is ideal. And one of them is Python, who we just fused recently, or did a fragment summon for, but he's not fully built. He doesn't have masteries. So we're not going to be able to use him. So the other 2 options are Tatura Rhymehide from the High Elves or Underpriest Brogni from the Dwarves. And we're going to go with Underpriest Brogni. Underpriest Brogni just brings a ton of damage. He's got HP burn on the A1. He increases the value of shields on the A2, which is unique, and we're going to use that to make our shields even bigger so that we can tank the stun. And then he's got the block debuffs, increased attack, and shield, which is huge. He also reflects damage, which can proc Giant Slayer, and so that is just, it's going to be a ton of damage from Brogni. So honestly, that's like the founding blocks of this team, and so the rest 3 are just damage dealers. So if you think about it, we have weaken from Hellcat, so we just need decreased defense. And sadly, there's not a ton of options that we can use for a clan boss team from the fusions and fragment summons. Herndig does decrease defense and weaken, but he gains weird turn meter in his passive. Astralon does decrease defense on the A1, but he gains weird turn meter on his passive. Vergamkar has it, but it's on a 3-turn cooldown, and he's unbooked on my account, so it's a 5-turn cooldown, so we can't use him. So with slim pickings, we're going to go with Foley. He's got a 4-hit on the A1, 20% chance of placing it, so it's pretty low. Pretty low. And then we're just going to use these 2 abilities, turn off the A3. So he's got 2 4-time hitters, so we're going to put him in Giant Slayer. And hopefully, I think decreased defense and weaken will just drop off sometimes, but we're just going to have to do as much damage as we can and power through. Next up, we have Kreela Witcharm, who's a super old fusion. A1 hits really hard. A2 is an ally attack with 3 random allies, and that hits really hard. And then increased attack, increased crit rate. And this is on a 4-turn cooldown. The buff's going for 3 turns. We're still going to build them with 70% crit rate, and just if they hit that 1 turn, they might not crit, but that's okay. We're going to make this our priority and then go into the ally attack, and hopefully those ally attacks will help us keep decreased defense and weaken up a little bit more. Our last champion is actually going to be another orc, Iron Brago, one of my favorite fusions for a long time. He hits really hard. He's defense-based. Important thing is he brings increased defense to the whole team on a 3-turn cooldown for 3 turns, so the increased defense should be up the whole time, which helps his damage and Hellcat's damage. It also helps us tank the stun. He's got a really cool passive that increases the defense of all allies by 10% of this champion's defense. So if he has 4,000 defense, everyone else gets 400 defense, which is great. So I've spent a lot of time testing and building this team in the background. I don't want to bore you guys with that, but I will show you the setup and the stats. We're going against Magic Affinity, which kind of stinks because Helicath and Brago, who hit pretty hard, are going to be weak Affinity here. So that stinks. But we're just powering through. Iron Brago is 4,900 defense, which means he's going to give everyone 493 defense, 192 speed, 71 crit rate, 254 crit damage, so he should hit pretty hard when he doesn't weak hit. Foley, 5,300 attack almost, 240 speed, 253 crit damage, 239 accuracy to play C decreased defense. Underpriest Brogni, 4,000 attack is actually a ton for him because he has such a low base attack. It's very difficult to get it this high. 191 speed, so he's going last, and he's going to place the block debuffs, and he's going to increase the value of the shield. And 236 accuracy to place the HP burn. Krila, we don't need accuracy, so it's just 4,300 attack, 241 speed, she's our fastest of the DPS, 74 crit rate, 274 crit damage. Helicath opens with A2, 5,000 defense, 257 speed, 72 crit rate, 210 crit damage, 239 accuracy to place the weaken. Now, if I've done this correct, which I think I have, we have to open with A1 for Brogni, and then it should be fully in sync. Yep. Which is cool. It's a full auto team, and I think it's going to work great. I had some difficulties earlier with the stun. I wanted to use Helicath because he has a defense aura, but if I did that, then he took the stun over Iron Brago. So we moved Brago to the lead, even though his aura doesn't affect us here. Basically playing without an aura. So the first one we just tank up with the shields. There goes the block damage. There's some ally attack. See if we can place decreased defense or weaken. There's weaken. There's decreased defense. Perfect. Perfect. Awesome. Weak hits. Weak hits. We're going to see a lot of that. But luckily our other three are neutral. We don't take any debuffs. That's great. Now we should see Brago or Brogni. I always confuse those two names. Increase the value of the shields right before the stun. So there go the shields. And then boom, they grow larger based off of his damage, which is huge. So we did it again there. I'm noticing that Krila is basically replacing Iron Brago's shields with her A1, which is super pesky. I don't know if she does it with this. Like if she goes in and ally attacks, see, she does. That extended to 2 turns. So I think what we need is for her to do her A3 before the stun ability every turn. And she's on a 4-3, so that is something we can manipulate. I'm going to go ahead and manual it. I could go back and restart, but I've restarted multiple times. So we're just going to try and figure this out, and you guys get a little insight on some of the difficulties you see here. So we're going to hold off on the A3, basically so we can ensure that happens in turn. And she is on a 4-3 ratio, which means that every 3 turns, the clan boss takes his normal cycle. She goes 4 turns. And her A3, which is only one her to use, is on a 4-turn cooldown. So it should be perfect. I will pull up the order here. Let me pull it to my other screen. We're on turn count 5. So we are right before the stun. Come on. So Krila starts us, and she'll also end it. So if we do this, it should be fully in sync now. So she didn't replace it there, which is good, because it's the same duration. I think it's only when his shield becomes a 1-turn duration, right there, that she would replace it. Perfect. She can't take the stun. Iron Brago can. So fingers crossed, we're back in sync. Everything is good to go. So Helicath taking the stun caused us to fall out of tune, and then Krila replacing Iron Brago's shield for whatever reason also caused us to fall out of tune. Or it didn't yet, but around turn count 20 or 30. Look how small that shield is, and then look how big Helicath's shield is. So you can see why it would cause it to go out of sync, because he'll start hitting through that since we don't have block damage for the stun. We're doing pretty good damage so far. Well over 1 million per turn. Still block damage on, still no debuffs. That's perfect. Iron Brago does have a 1-star Brimstone blessing, which is big. So this is the moment of truth here. It goes down to 1 turn. So if she A1s or A2s, it's going to take it off. Perfect. But she A3s. Brago takes a stun, and he tanks it like a champ. Look how big that shield is. Helicath with a massive defense. Iron Brago boosting his defense. And then Brogni increasing the value of the shield makes a truly massive shield. So I'm going to go ahead and turn off my mic. And then I'm going to go ahead and speed it up for you guys. And we'll come back around turn count 40 or so and evaluate, take a look at the damage. Let me close this, and I'll catch up with you guys in a second. Okay, so we are back here. Put it back on auto. We're at turn count 42. We're doing well over 1 million damage per turn. I honestly think if this was a better affinity for us, like Spirit, then I think this could hypothetically be a 1 key because we're not super far off. We still got 8 turns to go. We should do over 8 million damage. I'm thinking 64, 65 million. And I think if we're a better affinity, then I think we could hypothetically get that 1 key. Helicath and Brago's damage is definitely severely weakened. You see a weak hit there for 20,000. If that was a normal hit, it'd be around 120,000. Same thing there with Helicath. You see that's just really hurting us there. Once we got the Krila thing figured out, this has been working like a dream. I mean, it is, if we set up the AI correctly, it is full auto completely. And it's actually kind of fast too. The team I run is like a 3-to-1 team on my normal account, or this is my normal account. On my normal clan boss team, it's a 3-to-1 team, which really allows you to do a ton of damage, but it just takes a while. Everyone going so often, it's just so many turns, so many animations, and it just takes a long time. This is kind of refreshingly fast, which is pretty cool. It definitely is pretty cool. And this isn't my clan boss team that I've created. It's just the champions that I put together. And so far, I think they've been working pretty well. I've been pretty impressed with Foley's decreased defensive placing ability. It's only fallen off a few times that I've seen. Honestly, Weaken has fallen off more times just because Helicath is the only one who brings it, and he's weak affinity, so which really stinks because he's got 2 other active abilities he uses, so he's not using the A1 super often. So it could fall off. See, it just fell off there. He's going to counterattack, but if it doesn't go on here, then we're losing damage right now. That does less damage because there's no Weaken. That does less damage because there's no Weaken. So on and so forth. And that definitely hurts us a little bit, which is why I'm pretty confident we would 1-key this on Spirit Affinity. I'm really excited to see who's done the most damage. I'm super happy that the stun targeting worked out. I didn't have to tweak with their HPs or anything. It's just him being the wrong affinity and in the aura, and that really has worked out well. I want to see who's done the most damage. Helicath's probably built the best, then probably Foley, but Foley's multipliers just aren't amazing. His A3 is pretty good in Arena, but it's just not. We're not using the A3 here, and he's getting some Giant Slayer procs, but it's like his A1's hitting for like 20 to 30k, so we're doing, let's see, 29, 26, 30. So, I mean, just a little over 100, maybe close to 120,000, which is good, but it's nothing crazy. There we go, block revive. These 2 survived a little bit more. So yeah, I mean, we're super close to that 1-key, and like I said, this is on the worst affinity. Brago goes down. Brogni's trying to squeeze out a little more damage. There we go. So, 52 turns, which is cool to see. 68.04 million. Iron Brago, 11.3, which is, being weak affinity, still pretty solid. Foley, 15. Brogni, 18. Kreela, 14. Helicath, only 9.5. But that's weak affinity. I think you can easily add 2-3 million here, if not more. 2-3 million here, if not more. And pretty even spread, though. I knew Brogni would probably do the most. He's got the 2-star Phantom Touch. He's got the Reflex, which even though we're not taking a ton of damage, still gets the Giant Slayer procs. Brimstone here helps. 1-star Phantom Touch here helps a little bit. So Foley, pretty impressed with his damage. And then obviously it just stinks that these 2 were hampered by affinity the whole time. So that's going to be it for the video. I know it's kind of long because you watched the whole clan boss run, but I'm really excited about this. I'm going to try and do at least 1 or 2 of these a week. If you guys have any ideas or advice, just leave it down in the comments below, and I'll catch you guys on the next video.